Welcome back to the shop. It's Monday, the 13th of April, 2020.
Hi, everybody.
Good sweet tea. Back to summer this
Yum,
week
sweet tea. Yeah, well, not after last night.
Well, yeah,
Last night was not summer.
That was a thunderstorm and a half last night. Big night last night with the storm. Alrighty. How about Daniel in that intro to the video, or not the intro, but the thumbnail?
Thumbnail, I liked it.
Yeah, nice picture.
He looked really good.
Yeah, nice picture. Alright, guys, let's move on. This week in the shopping project's completed. Daniel, Loretta, and then after we got done working, Mill Hand Michael all did a good job on cleanup over at the lumber yard.
The lumber yard, that's a good name, a good word for it.
Did a good job over there. We kind of had a mix match. We had 2x4s and 2x6s and 2x12s all kind of mixed
1x7s, 1x12s.
Yeah, just everything. And it was kind of eating at Daniel a little bit, so Daniel decided he was going to go over and work on that, and him and Loretta started on that, and then Mill Hand Michael, when we got done doing our thing, Mill Hand Michael went over there and worked with him for a while, and the lumber yard looked pretty good. Let's take a look at some of the things they did. Stack of lumber for Mom is kind of a little mismatch thing. So yeah, a lot of stuff
little things I picked out of piles that I said, ooh, I can make something out of that. Put it in my own little stack.
The little pile in the picture kind of off to the right that kind of looks like a bunch of stuff kind of just set together, and that's kind of exactly what it is. But they did a good job of getting the 2x12s with the 2x12s, 2x10s with 2x10s, 2x8s, 2x8s, 2x6s, and on and on. So it looks really good. And we have a really good idea. Daniel did a really good inventory. We came up with about 3,100 board feet of material out there. We're going to keep adding to that, but we'll talk more about that later. But really, he did a lot of work out there.
A lot of work.
He really kind of drove that. That was his project, and he drove it himself. Then Jay had a great project he did. This is one of those projects that I keep saying I'm going to get to, I get the big part of the project done, and then I put the little part of the project off because it's easy, and that was, I built that mill shed out there, a 4x4 mill shed, just to hold a few things. Gosh, 2 years ago. Yeah, 2-3 years ago.
It holds a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it holds a lot of stuff, more than what it was intended. But when I built the thing, I said, I'm going to put 2 shelves in here, and we'll have everything nice and organized with the blades up top, and then oils and lubricants and stuff in the middle. And I had all these plans, but I kept putting it off because, you know, the shelves were, you know, nothing to get them put in. And I never got to them, and Jay said, hey, I need to get that done. And he jumped on that and did a really good job.
Yes, he did a really good job.
Let's take a look at some of the work Jay got done, and more importantly, let's look at the after pictures there. Alrighty, I think Jay posted the before and after pictures on his Facebook, so if you want to see the before, I was too ashamed of them to put them on the video or on our YouTube, or excuse me, or on our Facebook page, but Jay put them up there, but he did a lot of work. And then Mill Hand Michael and I cut up the last 7 cants that we've had on the property. Now, if you remember, gosh, back 3-4 years ago, we cut pine trees up, particularly pines, I think a couple of other things. Poplar was another popular choice, but we cut them up into cants, so that way if we needed anything, we could just kind of slice off the boards like slicing bread. We had a bunch of different size cants. We had 6x6s, we had some 5x5, 4x4. We had just kind of a mix match, just so if we needed some boards cut, we could go out there and do that. I don't think we'll get back to that. If we ever do, we'll probably go to a limited amount of cants sitting around just waiting to be cut up. Just didn't like the boards when they come out. The cants just kind of tend to sit around forever. So probably not get back to that except for a limited, but I was glad to get those done. The only 2 cants that we got left now sit around by the our fire pit. And that's
which those are nice.
Yeah, those are just there for us to have lunch or eat a snack or sit on during the day when we're working down around the fire pit. So I think all the cants are now off the property. Yeah, so we're done there on that. Most projects, though, are going to be on hold for a while due to the coronavirus. We'll talk more about that in just a few seconds. Alrighty, guys, let's move on. Alrighty, upcoming for Two Dogs. Alrighty, I want to put the hinges on Daniel and Kimmy's shed. We may be doing that Saturday afternoon after we work around here for a little bit. But I had trouble getting the hinges for Daniel's shed. What I was wanting to do was get some strap hinges anywhere 16 to 18 to 24 inches long to hold those big heavy doors. Couldn't find them here locally. They were never available on Amazon, not even back from when I was trying to get them for my shed door out here on the Sawmill. So I just haven't had a lot of luck with them. Daniel found some that we're going to try. Not sure they're going to be heavy enough, but we're going to give it a try and see if they'll hold the door. Maybe just kind of keep waiting and see what happens with Amazon, or maybe have to go to somewhere locally and order those. But we're going to try putting notes.
Forge them.
Yeah, you know, that's one of those things we talked about at one time.
We've got a plasma cutter. We can cut them out and forge them.
Yeah, we might have to wind up actually doing that. I might have to get some steel and do that. Then we got shop cleanup and mom cave cleanup. The reason we're talking about cleanups is we're just not going to do a lot of projects. All projects are kind of on hold, or at least all our kind of commercial builds are going to be on hold. And that's things for shows, things for markets, because we don't have a lot of those lined up right now. We really don't need to take up much more room than what we already have with builds. As a matter of fact, some of this stuff, like this, I talked to you last week and said these were 5-minute jobs that I was wanting to get out. And the problem with this is right now these guys hold up this much space, but if I build them, they're going to take up about that much space. All my wine holders over here are about the same. They're holding up about this much space, but if I build them, they're going to be this much space, and we're completely out of space.
Out of space,
right
yeah.
We just have no space.
We're trying to organize to find everything so that we can maybe make some space.
Yeah, and it's just right now it's really, really tough. So we're holding off on pretty much all builds and everything, or at least the commercial builds, things for markets and shows and things like that, until we have more kind of information, because we've got stuff left over here from
Easter.
We got a ton of Easter stuff that Mom made that we just can't do anything with
until next year.
Yeah. So now we're kind of stuck with this. So we don't want to wind up with the same thing for the 4th of July and then go into Halloween, building for Halloween, building for Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then find out there's a second wave of the coronavirus, which they're kind of expecting, and then we'll have, you know, essentially a year's worth of products kind of sitting around, getting banged up and things like that.
Where I have to fix them again.
Yeah, we're going to hold off on everything. But what we are going to do is we're going to continue milling, and that's because, one, we've got the racks that Jay has built for the wood, so that's not a problem in place and storing it. Matter of fact, even after the big storm last night, the only thing that held up was my racks that I made. None of the plastic got ripped off. We did a pretty good job. I need to do maybe kind of a build of what we did with that, because that is a good little easy rack to build that anybody can make. But those hold up really well, so since we'll always be able to use lumber, whether it's here on the property, over at Daniel's house, even to sell at sales, we'll always have that availability. It's not really going to take up any more space now as lumber as it does logs, so it's actually taking up less space.
Stack it more neatly than logs.
And at least will be usable, so we're going to continue milling and milling and milling and milling until we get all the pine logs particularly milled up, and probably a bunch of the hardwood. Alrighty guys, let's move on. Markets and shows and markets, there are none. There's nothing planned. I don't think you have any word on anything.
Any of them, except for the ones I already applied for and that are canceled.
Yeah, so there's
no new date for them. So
yeah, there's nothing coming up right now. We don't even know where to look or where to begin looking for this to kind of ease off where we'll be back doing shows. We know it'll come. We just don't know when, and we're not going to hold on to any more products right now. We're just going to keep right kind of where we are, I think, as far as build products. Alrighty, guys, let's move on. Love that tea. Well, I think that's about it for this evening. Do you have anything?
There are a few things that I can build, like flags. Flags are 24/7, so I can even sell those. Maybe even find someplace online to sell like my jewelry and stuff like that. So if you have any ideas, places online, send them to me. Maybe we can do a little online, since everybody's doing it anyways. They're stuck indoors. So check it out.
Good plan, good plan. Alrighty guys, I do believe that really is about it for this evening. As always, we'd like to say thank you for watching the video. And remember, we'd love to see you back in the shop.